Libra, we are in your season, and this October is one of the most transformational months of the entire year. We have two eclipses, one in your sign, and Pluto going direct towards the middle of this month, and we really end off with a lot of exciting energy towards the end. I really feel like many of you are going through this transformation process, or you are currently in a transformation process that is going to be peaking or heightening during your season. And again, this eclipse is on the 14th, so really pay attention to what is shifting in the middle of this month. It's very likely going to be affecting you for the next 6 months out, as you are really letting go of an old sense of who you are, embracing something new. And as I'm really connecting with spirit, really connecting with your energy, it feels like the person that you are meant to be is something that was not modeled to you. It's something that was never shown to you. You're becoming this type of person that you have never seen before. And that's very, very interesting to me. So I want to see what comes through in the tarot this month. If you're excited for this month's reading and you're not already subscribed, then this is the month to do it. I'm very likely to rebrand either in October or in the very near future. So if you want to make sure that you are always up to date with what's in the cards for you, then definitely be sure to hit like, subscribe, and the bell notification. I get comments and messages from you each and every month saying that you haven't seen me for some time, you haven't seen my videos, and that you've missed me. And the truth is, I've missed you as well. I've actually been uploading since over a year ago again, after taking a bit of a break. I still haven't gotten everybody back, so if you do support this channel, it not only helps me continue to put out messages for all of you, but also reach people who are still looking for it, for people who still need them, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. For those of you who are new to this channel, it's great to have you. My name is Michael, and I utilize tarot and tropical astrology to intuit monthly forecasts for your zodiac sign. I also have links in the description of this video for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions. I will never DM you or send you a message or leave you a comment to solicit my services. Anyone who's doing this is just a fake account, so you can just report and block them. You can also follow all of my actual social media using the links in the description of this video. That way you're sure that you are following me. Now, let's get into October reading. I'm very curious to see what we have this month for you. As I'm shuffling the cards for you, Libra, I am going to go a little bit deeper into the astrology because there is a lot of important things that are happening this month. We do have Pluto going direct in the sign of Capricorn, which for you represents your very deep personal side. It is your home, your family, your private life. And part of this forward movement, some of you are realizing or letting go of old childhood patterns or trauma. You are healing on a very, very deep level, and there could be some changes that are happening in your home, things that you've been thinking about. Honestly, October in general is a month where a lot of changes are going to be happening. We do have an eclipse in your sign as well as in Taurus. Now, both of these signs are actually ruled by the planet Venus. And because of this, both of these eclipses are really having us reconsider our notions of security, the way we derive our sense of stability, our value, and who we connect to and why. And for you, there's very personal energy here because it's like you are examining your relationship to yourself, who you are. We do have the Emperor in reverse. Very, very interesting. Tell me more about this Emperor in reverse. The Strength and Emperor in reverse. Interesting. I feel like a lot of you have tried to put on a strong front for a long time. And it feels like the persona, the ego that you have been in is kind of falling away or has fallen away. And to be honest, I'm just going to say it, I feel like some of you have been very humbled. You didn't think your life would be at this point. You didn't think you would get to where you are now. And I do get the sense that many of you have been very reflective, very contemplative, maybe even a little depressed over the past month. I know mental health was a big theme for you in September as we were in Virgo season, but still coming out of that, there's some very deep questions that you're asking about yourself and getting to know yourself. And with the Strength card and Emperor card in reverse, I really do feel like you put on a strong front or you were trying to mask something that you can no longer mask. And you are coming face to face with some part of yourself. Very, very interesting energy here. Yeah, things did not go the way that you expected. And I mean, this is really talking about the past energy. I'm not even getting into October yet, but it feels like for those of you who are really resonating with this reading, it feels like things did not go your way, or things have not been going your way recently. And it was like there was something that was opening up, maybe an opportunity. There was something that you were looking forward to that didn't end up coming to fruition. And I just feel like you're kind of deflated. And I feel like your self-esteem took a very big blow. Or your self-worth. So I'm sorry if that resonates, but I really do get the sense like you've been through something, Libra. And honestly, with the South Node in your sign, the nodes are where the eclipses occur. The South Node in particular is a point of release. It is something that is familiar to us, but it is also something that we are kind of moving away from in our evolution. And so for you, it feels like you're letting go of an old ego, an old sense of self. And this makes perfect sense. But it's not even just like an old sense of self. What I'm really getting for this group is like, you had a vision for what success looked like in your life, or what you thought your life was going to look like, or what you thought was going to make you happy, and something just didn't line up. And it's like redefining who you want to become. That's very, very interesting. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below how that is resonating. We have the Four of Swords with the Ace of Swords in reverse. All of these cards have been in reverse so far. So I really do feel like there has been this deeply introspective energy. And I feel like, again, a lot of you have been kind of lost. You don't know how to move forward. And you don't know how to pause and take time for yourself. It feels like this kind of contradictory energy. And what I'm really getting from this is actually the lesson you've been learning. It's almost like making decisions even when you don't know for certain what you need to do. Because that's how you need to get your peace of mind. You kind of just need to make a decision. And I know Libras, I'm a Libra rising myself, we can be very indecisive. And so it feels like you have had to find closure in a situation where there wasn't closure. Or you've learned that you're not always going to get closure, you're not always going to get resolution, you're not always going to get the ending that you expected or hoped for. And rather than waiting for that to come, it feels like you are supposed to move in a different direction. I really, really get that. What else do we have for Libra? We have the Nine of Wands with the Hierophant. And it's interesting because I actually see this Nine of Wands in a very hopeful light. Oftentimes this does indicate fatigue or being low on reserves, but when you look in the background in particular, yes, you have burned through most of the wax, most of these candles, but there is a dawn that is fast approaching. There is something that is shifting. Your struggle is almost over. This darkness is almost over. And you have what it takes to make it through. You have really had to grow spiritually with the Hierophant here as well. Maybe some of you are connecting with spirituality. Maybe some of you are working with a therapist or some sort of guide or mentor. There is someone here who is helping you in this kind of darkness before dawn. And I feel like a lot of you have been hearing in readings or just hearing this message, like something good is coming, and the thing you want is coming. And you've just heard that so many times, and at this point it's like, you almost don't believe it, or it's like you're just so fatigued, you're kind of blurry-eyed. Like you've kind of lost focus. So that's very, very interesting. We have Justice. This is one of your cards, Libra. This is a balance. Something is coming into balance or finding a balance. Some of you need to just be very objective with yourself. This is actually your challenge. And I feel like this energy that I've really been trying to name, it's like some of you have this idealized self or this story, this narrative of who you are or what your life is. But if you actually looked at objectively at your behavior, at your actions, at the way you're living your life, it's not really lining up. And so when I really see the Justice card, it's about being very objective. And this is challenging for you. I do feel like there is a lack of clarity, there is a lack of closure. And it's actually interesting because I don't think you're in this energy right now where it's like you're going to feel the way forward. You actually just have to be very mental, very logical, and very rational with how you are moving or living your life in the month of October. Which is kind of interesting. And I feel like that's not usually the message you get from tarot readings, but I feel like you are being very logical. Because you're in such a depleted space or because you're lacking this clarity, it's like you can't really figure out what you need emotionally or what is really going to be what feels the best for you. You kind of have to just make a head over heart decision and just be very analytical. We do have the Chariot here as well. Yeah, some of you are just going to be making a decision or needing to make a decision. And again, it feels like you just need to be very objective. Two of Pentacles. You're finding a new balancing act. Or you're finding a new balance. I feel like some of you have been in this energy of trying to it's like have your cake and eat it too. Or it's not even that. It's like some of you want a little bit of everything, or you want like two different paths. But it's like the way you've been going about this balance in your life, maybe this is the right way to go about it. The way you've been trying to establish balance in your life has ultimately just made it so you're not really getting anything that you want. You're not really satisfied. And so I feel like you need to make a decision. You need to commit to things. Tell me more about this Two of Pentacles. What is shifting? What is changing? We have the Page of Pentacles here. This could be about a job. This could be about a project. I feel like you are just doing things to help you feel more stable in the month of October. Because I really do feel like this group has had like the Tower's not on the table, but I feel like you've had a very disruptive period or something caused you to kind of fall from grace, so to speak. And again, it feels like there was kind of this falling away of your ego. And I don't sugarcoat these readings, you know, I'm not going to just tell you the things you want to hear. But I really do feel like there is something here in the future that's worth investing in. I feel like there is this new beginning for you, even though things have felt kind of confusing. What else do we have for Libra? The Moon. Yeah, some of you really have just been navigating a very confusing or emotional time. And I really do feel like you've been destabilized with the King of Pentacles. I almost get the sense that some of you have been in like survival mode. Or just doing what you need to do. And sometimes that's just what life is like. Sometimes you have those chapters, but you can only stay in that energy for so long before you get burnt out from that. And I feel like You just gotta do things differently, Libra. Because I feel like a lot of you, if I'm being honest, I feel like a lot of you have been saying what you want to do or what you need to do, but you haven't really been following through on it. And that's kind of where Justice and the Chariot comes in, where it's like, you just need to make the decision to act and to do, and you can change things up as you go. But I do feel like you're getting back on your feet. I really, really do. I feel like you're getting back on your feet. That's kind of part of this balance as well. There's almost like this rebirth energy. And I know with the eclipses, there's kind of this shadow. There's this darkness. It can feel heavy. It can feel confusing. But these aren't necessarily evil or bad things. It's not necessarily comfortable. But it feels like you're kind of just biting the bullet, and maybe you're taking better care of yourself. Maybe you are making the decision to invest in something or to change something in your life. I feel like you do need to make a change here, because the way that you have been living hasn't been working. And it's almost like you've become identified with something, like the way you've lived. It's almost like you've made it part of your personality when it's really not. It's not who you are in your spirit. Yeah, the Eight of Cups, some of you are walking away from situations or energies that are no longer working. When I look at this Eight of Cups in particular, it's like, yeah, there are these pots that were catching the water from these leaks, but it was almost like a Band-Aid. It didn't really fix anything. And like, that's kind of what your situation feels like to me, Libra. You've been trying to change little parts of it. That's what I was getting at before. That's what I was trying to say. It's like you've been trying to fix little parts of it, or have your cake and eat it too. Like, make just the littlest amount of change so you can still be in the situations you're in. But there is something this month where you are really facing, you can't continue this way anymore. This isn't sustainable. And you kind of need to venture out into something unknown, out into the night. And we do have the moon here again as well. So some of you really are venturing into uncharted waters. And I did get that as a message for you at the beginning as well. You are becoming something that was never really modeled to you. And so this is very interesting. This feels like a very deep psychological read, because I feel like I've been very abstract. I haven't been very specific, and I am realizing that, but it feels like that's not the point here. We're speaking on a very deep psychological level. So that's very interesting. I'm curious. I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you. Whoops. We do have the cheetah coming out. Moving towards your purpose. This is giving Chariot vibes. This is giving justice. And it's just being very decisive. You need to be very decisive this month. It's kind of the challenge, but it's also like, you're not going to know who you are, what you want, or what works for you unless you really go after it. You're going to learn more as you go. We have the vulture here as well. There are definitely some things that are being purified in the month of October. And it's interesting because the vulture is very much an energy or totem that can be called upon when there is a loss, when there is something that is dead or no longer in service, and helps us find the nourishment. It helps us find the silver lining. It helps us find the life in the death. And I really feel like some of you are doing that intense work because you are walking away from an old sense of self or an old life. It feels bigger than just you, because it's almost like your dreams have changed, your values have changed, and you might not even realize it because you've been so focused on what you thought you were or what you thought you wanted versus where your soul is actually calling you to go. And I'm not going to lie, this is kind of hard energy to go through right now, but I really do think there will be something beautiful that comes through it. The octopus. This card often comes when our boundaries are either being violated or we don't have a sense of who we are, because octopus is very perceptive. It has these tentacles. It's able to reach and even manipulate things. It's a very perceptive energy here for sure. But it feels like that Libra quality where it can lack boundaries is really coming up. And specifically from the book of this deck, I know that the octopus does have this line that says, closeness is not the same thing as having no boundaries. And sometimes when this card comes up, we mistake closeness with having no boundaries. And I feel like that's important as well. Maybe with this full moon in Taurus at the end of the month, there's something about boundaries that's coming up for you. Because it's like when you have a solid sense of who you are or what it is that you want or what your needs are, that's actually going to help people be closer to you. Because it feels like you've tried to be something that you're not. And maybe you did that for other people, for relationships, for a job. There's just a lot of focus on identity this month and on who you really are. And honestly, the way I really feel about this, it's like, it's not even so much realizing who you are this month as much as it's like, realizing, oh, I don't actually know who I am. Or I thought I knew who I was, but this is now changing. What is a core part of who I am versus what is trauma or what is conditioning? So I feel like there's some very, very big themes that are coming up for you this month, Libra. And I know that some of this might be hard to hear, but I hope at least it's giving some sort of insight here. And again, I don't see this as all darkness. I really do feel like there is something beautiful that is changing. There is something new that is beginning by the end of this month. You are becoming more stable, more grounded, more abundant. And I feel like you are the seed that you are nurturing. You are nurturing your potential. You are nurturing your worth. Some of you are also working with affirmations or something that is like a affirmative practice or ritual. I'm actually hearing mirror work for some of you. Any final messages for Libra? We have the full moon in Libra. Interesting. A win-win outcome is forecast. And honestly, the only thing I can really think of with this card, like the first thing that comes to mind, I should say, when it comes to relationships, it's not a matter of, do I have this person or do I have myself? It's actually the case of, I can only be as connected to another person as I am connected to myself. That's that balance. And I feel like in 6 months' time, when we have the full moon in Libra, which will be another eclipse, you're going to be in a much better place. I really, really feel that. And this is the turning point. This is the starting point. Yeah, the energy is gaining momentum. The waxing moon. I feel like you are making good choices and better habits for yourself. Some of you are also going through a glow up. You're just taking better care of yourself. We have the full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches. Yeah, the energy is definitely at a peak right now. And, we just had the full moon in Aries at the end of September. And this full moon was very close to being an eclipse, we should add. And for you, this may have signified some sort of change or ending in relationships or the way you think about relationships. Maybe there was some conflict, and that conflict was a bit of an ego blow. But ultimately, this is about you getting to know yourself. And it's interesting that we have the Aries-Libra axis showing up together here, these opposite signs. Because you're coming into a sense of self. And by doing that, it's improving your relationships as well. And we have the new moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. I'm telling you, there is something very, very abundant for you. There is something very beautiful coming in. And I feel like springtime or 6 months from now is going to be a very profound new beginning for you. I feel like you're going to be in a much better place financially. You're going to be more stable, but it does require work. It's not something that you're just manifesting, putting out into the ether and not making any tangible steps towards. With the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, you are moving in the right direction. And I feel like there's almost this phoenix energy here of like, you've been in the ashes for too long and it's time to be reborn. It's time to finally change and transform. And I really do feel like that's kind of this fire here. Something is peaking for you. Anyways, Libra, those are all the messages I have for you this month. Definitely be sure to hit like and subscribe if you've made it this far. You can find all of my links in the description of this video for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions, as well as astrology readings if you are curious to see how these eclipses are really going to affect you on a personal level. If you'd like, you can also check out the other readings for this month, maybe for your moon, rising, or other astrological placements. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Libra. Have a happy and blessed October, and happy birthday to those of you who have a birthday coming up.